is nothing worse than coming home from the store with a pack of fresh, expensive berries that you're so ready to eat, so excited, but then you forget about them for a day or two and then you go back, open them, and they are moldy. So heartbreaking because you know it's not just one, it's usually half the pack when they get moldy. So let me teach you how to make your berries last up to 3 weeks with this hack. It's really simple and so easy. It's important to know that this hack does not reverse aging in berries. It does not reverse molding, so you need to do this as soon as you get home from the grocery store with your store-bought berries. It's also super important to start with the freshest berries that you can. So let me teach you how to pick some of the best berries. When you purchase berries at the store, they are most likely going to come in these little plastic clamshell containers. And the first thing I do when I look at the container is look at the top, make sure that there's nothing molding on the top, of course. And then I always look at the sides and on the bottom. The bottom is really telltale because if you flip it over and there are smashed berries, there's juice, there's liquid, there's stuff going on the bottom, you do not want to purchase that container. The reason that you don't want to get anything that's ever smashed is because yes, maybe there's only 1 or 2 berries that are smashed in there. However, once they are smashed, that is introducing liquid to the rest of the berries. Exposed to air, that just attracts bacteria. There's always going to be a higher chance that there's already existing mold in your berries if they're smashed rather than if they are whole. So look out for any smashed berries. The second tip I have is with strawberries or any berry that has greens attached to them. Always look for strawberries that have a very healthy, green, vibrant top that aren't too shriveled or wilted. Lots of times I'll see cartons of strawberries that have completely withered and gray or brown strawberry tops, and you already know those are old. So look at the carton of strawberries, look on the top, look at the bottom, make sure that there aren't any smashed or moldy pieces. And last, of course, if you can find a date on either the container or the box that they came in, that's a really good indicator to know how fresh they are. Usually there's something on the box that will say they were packaged on this date or to use by a certain date. Look at that date and make sure it's as far out as possible. As for raspberries, make sure you do the same thing. Raspberries and blackberries especially are very susceptible to mold. So look in the top, the sides, make sure there's nothing smashed in there. I usually like to kind of gently shake and look at the bottoms, make sure that there's no mold in there, and we're ready to go. All right, now that we have really fresh and beautiful, nice berries, let's go give them a pre-rinse and then I'll teach you how to preserve them. I gave these berries a pre-rinse by just running them under cool running water for a couple seconds. This just allows any surface dirt, debris, bugs, leaves, or anything else to be rinsed off before we put them in the clean water. So to do this everlasting berry hack, it's really simple. All you need is some clean water and white distilled vinegar. I like to do this berry hack in my salad spinner because it comes with a bowl and then a little strainer piece that just fits right into here perfectly. I'm just realizing now that my salad spinner is like 20 years old and it is kind of busted, so I definitely need to buy a new one. If you don't have a salad spinner, I just find that it's just a really convenient application for this. Then you can always just use a bowl with a colander or a strainer inserted in there, or you can just use a large bowl and then spoon the berries out after. So I'm just going to fill my salad spinner up with some water. I never measure this because I just do however much fits into the bowl. So I just have clean water in here and it's filled about halfway up to the salad spinner. Now I'm just gonna add half a cup of vinegar. And like I said, you don't ever have to measure this. If you just have a large bowl, then you add about half a cup to 1 cup of white vinegar to the water. This helps to disinfect the berries. It helps to make them really clean to prevent extra additional mold growth. Now that I have our vinegar water, I usually just go like this to kind of distribute the vinegar a little bit. And now we can start rinsing our berries. So I always start with the sturdiest berry first. These are the strawberries, and these are actually organic strawberries, so I know that they're going to mold even faster. So these are rinsed, but I'm going to just put them into the colander, straight into the vinegar water. As you're doing this, make sure you're looking at the berries, and if there are any that have smashed, that have any openings, or that are already molding, you definitely need to take them out. This will not reverse the molding. You definitely need to prevent any additional bacteria. Okay, I officially had to retire my old salad spinner I've had for 20 years. I put the berries in there and then it just started like leaking all over the sides. So I transferred the berries over to, ooh, then I just spilled everywhere. I transferred the berries over to this glass bowl and I've just let them sit in here for 1 or 2 minutes. You don't have to let them soak for very long, and then you take the strainer part out and allow them to drip dry for a couple seconds like this to get any residual water off, and then you want to put them on a towel to let them completely dry. It's important to note that you do not want to rinse them again after you soak them in the vinegar mixture, because then that will just rinse all the vinegar off of the berries. After you've taken out the berries, you'll see that there's, you know, usually some dirt, some leaves in the vinegar water, and you can leave those for the next batch, but if there's anything large, I'll just take it out. Since the strawberries are the sturdiest, I always do those first, and then I usually always do my blueberries, and then I'll do raspberries and blackberries last, just because they are usually the most fragile ones. So I have my blueberries, my blueberries here, and we just dunk them in the vinegar mixture, kind of spin them around a little bit, soak them, make sure you get anything out of there that you don't want. Now, the number one question I always get with this berry hack is, do the berries taste like vinegar? The answer is absolutely not. They might smell a little vinegary when they come out of the vinegar solution. However, the vinegar does not affect the taste of the berries at all. All the vinegar does is kill the existing bacteria, making it harder for new bacteria to grow and to mold on your berries. Okay, so then we do the same thing with the blueberries. We'll just let them drip dry, so then they're as dry as possible, and then put them on a towel so that they can dry a little bit more. You can just put these straight into a paper towel lined container. However, if you want them to last a really long time, I do suggest that you try and dry them off as best as you can. Okay, now with the raspberries, I usually like to kind of dip them in the water first and then kind of gently coax them out, so then they don't break up in the water. We don't want any jam going on in our vinegar water. With raspberries, sometimes there's, you know, these little tops that come from growing. There's usually some little leaves. Make sure you take those out. You want to really be gentle with raspberries and blackberries because, like I said, they can kind of break up in the water and we don't want that. Okay, now we take the raspberries, and since raspberries are essentially just little cups, I like to kind of gently turn the colander, kind of like a little drum, so then as much of the water comes out of those little cups as possible. And you'll notice that I am reusing this vinegar solution. You can reuse it for, your whole batch for the day. I probably wouldn't keep it to reuse another day, but you can definitely use it for all your fruits and vegetable needs for the day. I've actually never tried it on vegetables before, but I assume it would work. Another fruit that this hack works really well for are grapes. So we'll just do the exact same thing. I usually just keep them on the vine unless I have them in like a little vegetable tray or something. And I just like to kind of dunk them in the water. Gets any of that bacteria and dirt and stuff off the grapes, and they do last longer. Okay, and drip dry, put them on the towel to dry. Now the last part to this berry hack, which is also incredibly important, is the storage method. So the first thing you can do is just take some paper towels and line the container that they came in. So I've got my little grape container here. I can add a paper towel on the bottom, take the grapes, make sure they are as dry as can be, and then I'll just put them in the container that they came in. Maybe if you want some extra credit, you can put some paper towel on the top, and then close these, put them in your fridge in the crisper drawer, and they will last much longer than if you had not done the vinegar rinse. So this is like a good option, but there are better options. Now, the other options, which in my opinion are much better and really help inhibit that mold growth and make them last super long, is by using a really, really good Tupperware, Snapware, whatever, airtight container. So these Rubbermaid Brilliance containers are the ones that I reviewed in this Amazon video right here. These are amazing. They really are some of the best containers. So they really lock out the air. So what I like to do is line this with a paper towel, and then I will take my berries as dry as you can get them and add them to this container. And then if you can get something that is like really good at keeping out the air, then that will make them last a lot longer. If you find that after a day or so, this paper towel on the bottom gets a little wet or damp, you can definitely change that out for a dry, fresh one, and they will last even longer. I've done this video before and I just wanted to do an update one this year. And one of the top comments on that older video is to use a mason jar to store your berries. And apparently they last super long in jars. So I'm gonna try that this time. I'm just going to, oops, I'm done with those. I'm going to just add a little piece of paper towel at the bottom to absorb any extra moisture. And then I'm going to put the raspberries in here because those obviously mold the fastest. And make sure that they don't have any water left in the cups. So take this mason jar and then make sure that you have the lid that is really screwed on there tight, so then you don't have as much air. The big thing with this is that you don't want to smash them at the top, because if you smash them, then they break open and then there's juices, liquid, moisture, and we want to prevent that as much as we can. So I used a wide mouth because that is a lot easier to store, but that's essentially it. You just extended the life of your berries by at least a week if they last at your house that long, but I promise they will not mold for at least several days longer than if you hadn't done this method. And with food being so expensive these days, I know that everyone needs these little hacks to try and save and preserve the things that we buy with our hard-earned money. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch this one next, and make sure you subscribe so that you can come back for all and any new videos. I really love having you here. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.